Oi, oi, all right. How's it going? I'm Grant, you're you. This is the Doodle Review coming through with a new album to give a spin, chat some fraff about, and then assign a pointless little score to. Today, I'm doing something I don't often do. Blink 182 re released their album one more time with 8 more tracks. So I thought I'd give the new ones a look and then revisit the whole album itself. One more time, the first iteration dropped about 9 months ago now, ushering in a wave of love from fans who'd long held out hope that the classic lineup would eventually reunite. And it kicked off probably one of the highest grossing world tours of the last year or so, outside of the obvious juggernaut that was the Eras Tour. I thought I'd pay the whole record another visit because my initial review of 4 hurt some feelings across my various social accounts. And despite what the review might lead you to believe, in general, I kind of like Blink. Their hits soundtracked a lot of my formative years, and Enema of the State, in particular, takes me back to like a very specific point in time. I practically wore that CD out. It also happens to still hold up as one of the classics of the whole period that pop punk went huge. My complaints about One More Time were pretty extensive. I dislike the cynicism of the lazy nostalgia bait, the whole Anthem Part 3 and repurposing various sounds and parts into newer, blander songs, just hitting like empty moments of fan service in Hollywood reboots. There are some super lame and insipid hooks, tracks like Edging. Then there's the production. And aside from those little raw punk interludes, the whole thing sounds totally artificial and gross, with DeLonge's vocals horribly auto-tuned and Barker's drums almost overtaking everything in the mix. Nearly a year later, and all of those points still stand for me. Maybe not the drums, I care less about their level in the mix. And to be honest, the velocity of Barker's amazing playing makes even the tracks I dislike, I guess, more interesting on some level. I think the most annoying thing about this album remains the fact that there's an abundance of cool parts buried either in the overstuffed track list or under the cynical fake sentimentality or just awful production. It feels like a decent record got trampled here. Every track does have something that irks me in some way. That gross production, unfortunately, just you can't escape it. But Terrified has a really cool heavy part to it, and I like how the chorus explodes and soars. More Than You Know has an awkwardly complicated beat in its verses, but has great intensity throughout, an intensity that comes through again in Turpentine. It's not just the heavy or dark tracks that appeal to me either. Dance With Me is, yeah, it's kind of lazy, but honestly, too good of a hook to really knock. It's fun and not overly lame like a track like Edging. When We Were Young has a really catchy, cathartic chorus, as does the whole of Other Side. So much of what I dislike about the record, and this unfortunately carries over to the new tracks, I must say, is this conformity, this sterilization in the name of making the band a viable commercial vehicle again. In some respects, you could almost call it interesting how a track like Everyone Everywhere merges these heavy punk moments with squeaky clean kids pop parts, but in reality, there's just certain points where I'm like, what the fuck am I actually listening to here? Run One Republic, Imagine Dragons. Um, the verse of Take Me In, the chorus of All Inside My Head, pretty much the whole of Can't Go Back, Every Other Weekend. It's just such insipid pop. Then you look back through the track listing, not just for the new bonus tracks, but the whole of the album, and it makes sense. The untouchable trio of Barker, Hoppus, and DeLonge are actually joined by many, many co-writers like Nick Long, Andrew Goldstein, Alday, Michael Pollock. These are people that have written for Miley Cyrus, Marshmello, and Ed Sheeran. Fuck, even Ryan Tedder from One Republic gets a credit on the record. And look, I'm on record in the past as saying that I kind of hate the whole stigma attached to pop artists that work with co-writers, because I kind of think that's what, being in a band is working with people. But it's all about context. There's just something about a band that's rooted in punk that have a legacy of actually being pretty good and good at being commercial while still doing their own thing. There's something about Blink here bringing on these kind of anonymous pop co-writers just to make sure their album's successful enough to warrant them actually, burying the hatchet and spending time together. It's fake. It adds to the whole faux sentimental, lazy nostalgia cynicism of what I've been talking about before, and add to that, it just sounds fucking wet, mate. Blink Wave on the original One More Time, shows there's maybe a path towards that more kind of direct pop crossover that sounds actually genuine. So maybe there's, hope if they continue down this route in the future. But for the most part, right here, right now, just not buying it. On balance, and we got to balance things out, haven't we? Things can actually be both shit and good at the same time. No Fun, for instance, starts with some of the dumbest lyrics, and the slow part is super boring, but the rest of the track, kind of like ruminating on the history of punk and the button down nature of society, is fun, and it's probably the best of the bonus tracks. And the last track, Take Me In, also is a pretty solid anthemic closer, in spite of the Pixies' Where Is My Mind by way of Barney the Dinosaur opening. So where does that leave us overall? Well, the original album I'm going to bump up to a 4.8. The 8 additional tracks of part 2, I'd probably give a 3. And all of it combined would then probably put it at a 4. So have we really made any progress? I don't know, but whatever way it is, it's time for me to knock it on the head. And look, that's just what I think, though. What are you lot saying? I'm sure if you're a Blink fan, you've got an opinion. Let me know in the comments. I've put some other reviews that are related to this in the description that you might be interested in. And if you can be asked to do all of that, either you're fuming, seething with hatred, or you may as well subscribe. So share some thoughts, show some love, or just have some abuse in the comments. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care, mate. Mind how you go. Cheers, then.